Diversify your banking. Hello, it's Samuela Davidova here. Welcome from Georgia. Guys, I know that it really feels like it doesn't really touch you because, you do all the great things and you're fine. I recall, I was making like $1,000, but when I was putting my fiat into the ATM, into my bank account, and it was like, oh, we will report this into the police. And it starts getting more and more the fiat, and like if you want to pay cash is getting crazy, is getting regulated. You cannot pay cash above a certain amount, etc. And Europe really gives you a headache for that. I think that the trend overall in the world is getting into more card payments, into more QR payments, whatever is so that it will be digitalized and therefore traceable. And I just understand if someone purely wants to have a privacy over where they are sitting, where they are eating, what they do, and how much CO2 they consume. And they don't want to even think about this. And I think that, of course, the biggest tax you pay over this is the attention that you have to bring to that. It's not only in monetary way. Despite, of course, if you don't like to work for free for half a year, you may want to move in the first place. Anyway, so what I want to talk about is that please diversify before you are kicked out. Because if you have some, shady transaction, not shady, it's not a shady thing. It's like, oh, you want to withdraw money from your business account in Europe. Okay, what is it for? Where is it from? And give me all the invoices. Like, they are not your accounting company, they are not your financial institution of the government, but they ask for everything. And the more proofs, the more data, the more fragile it is. And I understand if someone just wants to not have a headache, and like, especially if you travel a lot, you understand how much you want to have another bank account, another card, especially. Like, you want to have from the same bank account, you want to have 2-3 cards if possible. Why? Well, because you go to ATM, you want to withdraw money, but the ATM isn't really good, and it eats your card. In Asia, is quite a normal thing, and that's quite frustrating. So you end up like without access to your bank account. And then I know how traditional banks in the EU are just so come to the office. Well, no, you have a holidays for another 1 month. You cannot come to the office, so you won't have your money. I mean, like, so much headache. You want to diversify, like, before any issue happens. You cannot really do it when it already happened. Anyway, so this is one of the things that I'm solving for our European clients mainly, because also a lot of people, likely you have Revolut, Wise, and say a bank account in your country. I think that's quite good, actually. Also, Wise is quite fine for transfers. Even say to Indonesia, if you want to book something or so on, you will likely need to have this option. However, it's great to have also a traditional bank account. That's like why usually people find us, because I'm based in Georgia, in the country myself since 2020, and yes, because I initiated some great in-house contacts here in the banks and such. We're opening bank accounts. It's completely legal. It's normal thing to do. You can travel yourself to Georgia. You can open your bank account here. However, I understand if that's quite too much headache for someone. But it's one of the very few countries where you can actually open a bank account without residency. I honestly actually cannot really think of any other where it's legal, official, and they don't require this. It's not also a case in all the banks here, so you need to go to the banks where it's allowed, and you don't need to have special local ties. However, still it's recommended to open a deposit account in your bank account, which is great because for local currency it gives you like 10% of yearly interest, which is quite nice. Well, where you can find it, please tell me. And overall, Georgia doesn't have high inflation, so it's really nice. And well, it pays off. It's better than if the money just sits on the bank account. However, if you don't want to have a headache overall about investing somewhere, this is quite straightforward and just easy, I guess. But besides that, You're not required to have any other type. And you have your cards. If you have a premium banking, you know, your cards finish, your passport expires, whatever, you can do everything remotely. You don't need to travel anywhere. You don't need any office of the bank. And the good thing is that first you have premium cards, which is really convenient for travels. You get airport lounges, you get I'm using a lot Visa Concert. It's just crazily good. You can book anything, you can order anything, they can help you call somewhere, organize it, organize the delivery. Say your friend has birthday abroad, etc. They can organize this for you, and I cannot even imagine doing this myself, honestly, anymore. And you get at least 2 cards, which is really great, and you can easily block them, unblock them in your bank account, and to ensure that only you have the access to it. Yeah, and of course, as I said, airport lounges, fast track, all these really nice things, cashback. Well, it pays off for the premium banking. It's quite rare in Europe. You would have to say deposit something like 50k or so. It's quite usual to actually have access to premium banking, whereas in Georgia it's a norm. Like, I was quite surprised how quality the banking here is, and so we're like 200 clients or more we served, in mostly from the EU. And I understand that people want to have banking outside of the same continent. Also, like, EU is quite centralized, so basically if you have just bank account in another country of the EU, it's like as if you just have it in the same country. So of course, if you find any other option, that's super great for you, but I would love to at least draw attention to this, that please diversify, because it's just easier than it's, or contrarily, it's really hard to diversify later, like when you start having some issues. And please don't. Saying is based on experience of many of our clients, and it's easier to diversify when you have clearer mind, you know. Then something happens and you're like, okay, yeah, I'll solve this, but you don't mind. Like, you continue living as if nothing happens, and you're just, okay, well, whatever. So you want to lower this fragile point of yours, like, just to not to worry, not to having to think that something will happen which is outside of your control, basically because of regulations, because of a bad mood of AML officer. Okay, please be well, travel safe, and diversify.